Hi class, welcome to Microbial Genetics. And so, of course, the genetic material of the bacteria, we have the DNA. And the DNA is a nucleic acid, sorry. And nucleic acid, the building blocks for nucleic acid, because you have nucleotides. Okay. So for a nucleotide, we have three important components. Of course, we have first we have the phosphate group, and then we have the sugar. And first we have the third one, the nitrogen base. We have nitrogen bases. And remember, sugar for of the nucleotide for DNA or RNA, we have ribosugar. Okay, so ribosugar is five carbon sugar, carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so take note the number of carbon. That carbon number 2, we have the alcohol group here, the OH, and the OH is present if it's a ribose. Okay, so that's why in RNA we have ribonucleic acid. So the sugar is ribose, so we have OH group. And for DNA, we have the oxyribonucleic acid. Therefore, we don't have oxygen by the oxy. And at carbon number 5, attached to it is phosphate. Okay, like acidic form, we have H acidic form ng phosphate, of course, you have phosphoric acid. Okay, H 3PO4. That's phosphoric acid. Okay. And take note, yung phosphoric acid or yung acid could react to alcohol forming a bond called ester bond. So that's why itong phosphate group attached to carbon number 5 of yung sugar natin, ribosugar natin, could react to HOH group of carbon number 3, yung isa pang sugar, to form ester bond. So why phosphodiester bond? Because we have two ester bonds. Ester bonds, the carbon number 3 of this sugar A, and then another ester bond here at carbon number 5, sugar B. Okay, so that's why phosphodiester, two ester bond formation, and that is a phosphate group. So again, ulitin natin, like the oxyribose, wala siyang oxygen at carbon number 2. Ribose naman found in RNA if there is oxygen at carbon number 2. Okay. So aside from the phosphate and sugar, we also have nitrogenous base. Okay, nitrogenous bases natin. And we could classify nitrogenous bases according to their ring structure. So pag isa lang yung ring structure, those are pyrimidine. And ganito natin siya kinakount. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And yung number 1, we have NH. So usually, yung pyrimidine, yung NH here, ng cytosine, ng thyme, and uracil, etong N na to, at etong N, attached to at carbon number 1 of our ribose. Okay. And for adenine and guanine, as you can see, those are purine. Pag purine, dalawa yung ring structure. Okay. And yung number 9, diba may NH here, and number 9 here, NH, attached sa carbon number 1 of our ribosugar. So again, pag pyrimidine, like yung tandaan, pyrimidine, isang ring lang. So pag isang ring, tandaan nyo lang, one ring, of course, carbon number 1 attached to sugar, carbon number 1 of our ribosugar. Okay? And pag purine, number 9. Okay. Number 9. Yung nitrogen here attached sa number 1. Okay. So, what else? And the nitrogenous bases for RNA and DNA, nag-keep pa sila. So for DNA, we only have these 4 nitrogenous bases: cytosine, thymine, adenine, and guanine. And for RNA, we also have 4. But instead of thymine, we replace thymine ng uracil. Okay? And another thing, so para maalala nyo, adenine and guanine, those are purine. So PUGA, PUGA. Okay? And then for pyrimidine, picot. Okay? Picot. EYCUT. So we have cytosine, uracil, and pyrimidine. Okay? And ano pong mga shortcuts dyan? So, purine, maikili yung name, pero mataba. Yung pyrimidine, mahaba yung name, pero isang ring lang, kaya. Okay. Again, pag pyrimidine, okay, one ring, carbon, one ring, yung nitrogen here, number 1, attached to carbon number 1 of our ribose sugar, and then yung number 9 of purine, nitrogen number 9 purine, attached to carbon number 1 of our ribose sugar. Okay. So, pag mahaba na yun, we have bases here, and we have phosphodiester bond. So, mga nucleotides attached to each other, we have nitric acid. Okay. And aside from that, ito, another important thing. So, yung DNA actually ay double-stranded. So, therefore, yung each strand connected sila by hydrogen bond between the nitrogenous bases. Okay? So, ito yung nitrogenous base, for example, no, isang strand natin. Okay? Cytosine. And of course, yung partner ni cytosine ay si guanine. At si guanine, ito yung nitrogenous base ng another DNA strand natin, for example. Okay. So, cytosine and guanine, you need to remember this, na meron silang 3 hydrogen bonds. Okay, so there are 3 hydrogen bonds between cytosine and guanine. And for thymine, there are only 2 hydrogen bonds. Okay, here. So, yung nagpo-connect ng 2 strands ng DNA, of course, yung hydrogen bond. Okay, important yung hydrogen bond. Okay, and another thing, like, para matandaan nyo lang, cytosine goes with guanine. Letter C to, 3rd letter of the alphabet, pangatlo, so therefore 3 hydrogen bonds. Thymine, like yung tandaan, the 3rd, 2, so 2 hydrogen bonds. So why is the importance of DNA? So nakikita nyo dito, we have 5' to 3' end, and then 3' to 5' end. And later explain ko anong ibig sabihin ng 5, 3, and 3, and 5. So importance of the DNA is during cell cycle, we need to replicate the DNA. So we have here DNA replication, like copy of the genetic material. And of course, the DNA also like chain material to synthesize RNA. So we have different kinds of RNA. We have mRNA, we have rRNA, and rRNA. Later explain different kinds of RNA. And another thing, this RNA will be used for translation or to make proteins, and that process is called translation. So this is the central dogma, like the information ay galing lagi sa DNA, then gagamitin natin DNA, we use DNA as a template to make RNA, and we call that process transcription. And then if we use RNA as a template to make protein, and that process is what we call translation. Okay. So, ano yung 5' to 3' end na nakikita natin? So, 5' to 3' end, remember that the DNA ay antiviral siya. So, I think first strand and then antiviral sila. So this is the second strand, like magkabaliktad. So at carbon number 5, remember we have phosphate group. So that's the phosphate group attached to carbon number 5. Why that's the 5'. And then itong last sugar ng strand na to, we have yung exposed OH part of carbon number 3, which is the hydroxyl group. So 5 going to 3. So 5' to the 3' end. Okay. So bakit yung complementary ay 3 to 5? Because since the DNA is antiviral, so yung carbon number 3 here, ay yun yung hydroxyl part. And then yung dulo, which is carbon number 5, attached yung phosphate. So pinakadulo is number 5. So that's why 3 to 5' end. So yung complementary niya, 5 going to 3, yung partner niya is 3 going to 5. Okay. So, okay. And remember, yung DNA, usually we define it as a helix. Okay. So we have helix structure. And paano nagkakaroon ng helix or anong composition ng isang helical turn? So, yung one helical turn of the DNA, usually that is made up of approximately 10 base pairs. Okay. And so, approximately 10 base pairs depends sa klase ng helical turn or type ng DNA. Pwedeng 10, 11, or 12. Okay. And nag-turn siya, we have this minor group and major group. Yellow and orange, those are yung nitrogen space natin. And ito ay yung ating sugar phosphate backbone. One chemical turn again that is made up of 10 base pair. So, gano'ng kalaki yung 10 base pair? So, gano'ng kahaba? So, each base pair usually around 0.34 nanometer. So, ito yung mga important numbers na kailangan nyo magandaan. 0.34 nanometer. That is the length of one base pair. Okay. So, kapag meron kayong 10 base pairs, that will be equivalent to ilang base pair, ilang nanometer. So, times 10 lang ito. So, around 3.4 nanometer. Okay. So, kung meron kayong 1,000, okay, that is 0.34 micrometer long. So, therefore, meron kayong 100 helical turn. So, 1,000 kilobase pair, or 1 kilobase pair or 1,000 base pair. Okay. So 1,000 ilang turn yun? 100. So 1,000, of course, divided by 10 is 100 helical turn. And remember, yung E. coli, meron siyang 4,640. Okay. I think this is a kilobase pair. And pag minultiply natin siya sa nanometer, that would be equivalent to 1.58 millimeter long. So, take note, masyadong haba yung DNA, like 1.58 millimeter in terms of length. Okay. But the actual size of E. coli, around 2 micrometer long. Okay. So, question for participation and recitation. Okay. So, how or paano napagkakasya ng E. coli yung 1.58 millimeter long DNA dun sa kanyang cell. Okay. So for participation, that would be 5 points. Okay. So pwede kayong mag-participate. 5 points. So yung 5 points pwede kong ilagay sa exam or sa quiz. Okay. So kayong bahala mamili kapag nag-compute na tayo ng grades. So, okay. So yung mga magpa-participate, kindly send your answer dito sa email na i-provide ko. Next slide.